A day after the inauguration of President Donald Trump, they marched.
This is what democracy looks like!
In Washington, Chicago, San Francisco, and around the world. Now they're turning a women's march into a growing women's movement. Thousands of women from the movement are descending upon Detroit for the first ever women's convention. The group, called the Women's March, now has a permanent staff and a political action committee that raises money to elect women. It is officially nonpartisan, but it was no accident the Women's March came the day after the man who said this,
I did try and her. She was married.
Was inaugurated as president of the world's most powerful country.
There was a spark, and we're trying to feed into that spark. I think Americans, we tend to react to something that is painful, and for many of us, the election of President Trump was very painful. All of those things impacted us. And we reacted, and that's what you saw in Washington, D.C. after he was sworn in.
The organizers of the Women's Convention want to transform the role of women in government, in the workplace, and in society. And what better place to do that than here in Detroit, a city that's transformed itself since emerging from bankruptcy 2 years ago. Coming as allegations of sexual harassment against producer Harvey Weinstein have rocked Hollywood, some see this global strategy session as the perfect opportunity to talk about the issues.
In the same way that it's going to take white people changing to change racism, it's going to take men changing to change sexism and the issues of sexual assault and sexual violence. What we really need is for men to get involved.
Detroit civil rights attorney John Philo agrees the effort to enhance the roles of women needs help from men.
Too often as males, right, we may see something occur, we know that occurs, and we say it's not us, right? We didn't do it. So we don't speak out, right? We don't force change. And I think what the women's movement really is doing is forcing the change that's needed, it's right, and enough is enough.
The road towards January 21st brought us together with great sisters.
The women behind the Women's Convention hope the gathering this weekend is enough to launch a sustained movement. Hendren, Al Jazeera, Detroit.